there's a reason for which all of these things are happening. Today, if you take, for example, the report of the Ghana Statistical Service, it says that food prices are going up primarily because transport fares have gone up. And transport fares have gone up because fuel prices have gone up and have been going up. Why have fuel prices gone up? In December last year, a barrel of crude oil was $74. As at the end of March, it's $133. That's almost doubled. If you are not in a country where, for example, there are a lot of reserves that the government can then say it is using to subsidize, then it means that, especially if you're in a very deregulated market, in a market where private companies go and buy the crude oil, ship it in, host it in tanks and bring it to their own private fuel station, MFA station or POCO station or something station, then they are going to pass on that cost to you. Once that cost goes up, transport is also deregulated, transport fares will go up. So when the woman goes to Domahinkro to buy a box of tomatoes and now has to transport it at these high prices to Accra, brings it to the market, understandably the price will go up.
But there are certain taxes that government could take off fuel, for instance, that would make it easier for us.
I'll come to that. But the point is that what is therefore happening is the product of a global crisis. I was just reading up some data this morning. In the US, things have gone up unlike they have done before in the last 40 years, a 40-year high in inflation. In the UK, another 40-year high in inflation. In parts of Europe, like Norway, about a 13-year high. So I think the first thing is to understand that, oh my gosh, there's a global challenge that is hitting us all. Then you come to your second question, so what is my government doing? And if you'll recall, let me give a bit of a history. Between 2017 and 2019, the Ghanaian economy still had its own challenges, but it started performing better than what it had done previously. It was growing at a faster rate. More people were getting jobs. Things like inflation had started coming down from about 15% down to about 7%. At the time, when you mention it, people say, it's just numbers. You notice that today, when that inflationary anchor has slipped and prices are going up, now a lot of people are beginning to see how valuable that reduction from 15% to 7%. Inflation came down, interest rates came down. Then we started building a lot more buffers and reserves to hold the Ghanaian economy. Then in 2020, we are all aware, that's when I used to come on your show. And those days when I come, I'll be in a mask and you'll be in a mask. And after every 30 minutes or so, they'll come and spray alcohol on the table. Why? COVID. Your colleagues were not coming to work fully. People were doing shifts. COVID and all of those lockdown we're talking about, even just for a month, slowed down the Ghanaian economy, the West African economy, the global economy. When the economy slows down, what it means is that, because, for example, government only makes money from economic activity. So people, you will do your work, get your pay, and then a bit of it will be deducted into the government treasury. I will do my job, end of month, a bit of it will be deducted. Multimedia will work, end of year, 25% will be deducted. That's how government gets money. When the economy shuts down, it means that government is not going to get money. When government is not getting revenues, in the US, for example, government says, then I can't pay all my government workers, so I'll furlough them. So in the US, they furloughed government workers. In Ghana, we said, no, let every government worker continue to earn. Let's do free this, let's do free that. Let's ensure that we protect lives first and then livelihoods. By the time you finished in 2020 and got into 2021, the first part of your economy, which is the fiscal framework, had been badly hemorrhaged. So now literally all the reserves and buffers you have built are gone. You've used them to deal with the COVID program. Schools, students are going masks, all of the kind of things that you're spraying here, you're doing all sorts of things. Now by 2021, you started rebuilding. So you notice that 2021, the economy started growing again, 5.4. You started getting in some more money because the economy was growing. You were attracting some more resources from abroad. So you were expecting that by 2022, you can grow some more. Entering 2022, two things have happened. Our own economic program that we put on the table, which was supposed to help us grow or build back better, has struggled, and I'll explain why it struggled.
You're talking about the e-levy?
Not just the e-levy, other revenue measures, even borrowings and our reserves. All of those have struggled, and I'll come to explain that in detail. But at the same time that your economic program, which was supposed to help you build back better, is struggling, you've now been hit by another global crisis, the war in Europe, which is bringing three things. High food prices. A lot of the colleagues who were speaking about, imported tin of this, imported that of that, and yesterday I came and the price is here and it's gone here. The high food prices on the world market are beginning to bite them. So high food prices, high fuel prices, $74 to $133 in a deregulated market will hit you. And then high cost of financing because of the sanctions that Europe is imposing and Russia is reacting to high cost of financing. What does it mean? Now what is happening is that while your domestic economic program is challenged, there's an international crisis that is hitting you. And everybody is asking, what is government doing to help? It's
not just hitting Ghana.
It's hitting many other countries in the world. And all governments are asking, what can I do to respond? Now, in Ghana, for example, take fuel. I hear a lot of people who say, why can't government subsidize fuel? MFA, the reality is that there is no money there to subsidize fuel. Indeed, rather, the reverse is that government has some taxes, and I'm coming to answer your question. Government has some taxes and levies and some margins that were on fuel products. In February, when the war started and the economists predicted we were going to have problems, government came out, and I recall coming out and speaking and saying that we're going to introduce some measures on the instructions of the president to help mitigate the situation. So we took away about 3 margins. Yes, we didn't touch the taxes, but 3 margins. UPPF margin, fuel marking margin, BOST margin, we reduced them in our bid to mitigate the situation. We said we'll engage better with transport companies to see how they also don't escalate, because it will further escalate in that regime. In the last 3 months, in the last 1 week, we've been assessing how all of these measures have fared. And we've come to a firm view that the impact of the global crisis is so severe that some of the measures we have introduced, though they have worked, are not able to stop the impact on the Ghanaian.